Well, said Faria, when the young man had finished reading it. Why, replied Dante, I see nothing but broken lines and unconnected words which are rendered illegible by fire. Yes, to you, my friend, who read them for the first time, but not for me, who have grown pale over them by many nights' study, and have reconstructed every phrase, completed every thought. And do you believe you have discovered the hidden meaning? I'm sure I have, and you shall judge for yourself. But first, listen to the history of this paper. Silence! Exclaimed Dante. Steps approach. I go, adieu. Dante, happy to escape the history and explanation which would be sure to confirm his belief in his friend's mental instability, glided like a snake along the narrow passage, while Faria, restored by his alarm to a certain amount of activity, pushed the stone back in place with his foot, and covered it with a mat in order to more effectively avoid its discovery. It was the governor who, hearing of Faria's illness from the jailer, had come in person to see him. Faria sat up to receive him, avoiding all gestures in order that he might conceal from the governor the paralysis that had already half-stricken him with death. His fear was lest the governor, touched with pity, might order him to be removed to better quarters, and thus separate him from his young companion. But this fortunately was not the case, and the governor left him, convinced that the poor madman, for whom in his heart he felt a kind of affection, was only troubled with a slight indisposition. During this time, Edmond, seated on his bed with his head in his hands, tried to collect his scattered thoughts. Faria, since their first acquaintance, had been on all points so rational and logical, so wonderfully sagacious, that, in fact, that he could not understand how so much wisdom on all points could be allied with madness. Was Faria deceived as to his treasure, or was all the world deceived as to Faria? That's the question of the story. Chapter 18. Here we are. Listen, we tried to get acquainted with one another in a previous chapter. I'm a failed actor. What can I say? I spent 15 years in Los Angeles, half of that time pursuing acting. I did musical theater. I have a minor in theater. I can't help but sing the song that's in my heart sometimes. But Dante, arriving at the question of the hour, was Faria deceived as to his treasure, or was all the world deceived as to Faria? Well, I mean, I have a suspicion, considering the length of book we have left, which is real, and the fact that Dante is still, to borrow a term from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, coming out of his shell. I think that we can maybe trust Faria, that this is a real story, and it's going to lead to real treasure. At least that's what I'm having. That's the song that's in my heart. That's the song I'm singing after each of these episodes in this chapter. It's called The Treasure. We gotta have some treasure back in the title. That's what I think. I will say, in this passage, I am starting to feel a little bit of Dumas', let's just call it, enterprising nature. Having, all of these volumes collected in magazines and serialized over time, filling a little bit of space with these moments of suspense. How do I prolong this as long as possible? Well, okay, I buy that Dante is skeptical of Faria after his attack, and they're talking about the treasure for the first time. Great, you justified that enough. Do we need to really interrupt it again with the jailer coming? The steps come in and they have to separate, and this idea that Faria has to perform for the governor to pretend he's not actually as sick as he is. We kind of got that in the last chapter, if I'm being honest. You expressed the stakes, Faria, that should you be found out, you will be separated. It kind of feels like it's reiterating it. I'm not here to criticize. I'm just pointing out some things I'm noticing by going this slow through this story. In fact, I don't have a whole lot more to contribute to this. This might be one of those really, really brisk episodes. Hopefully, if you're binging and not listening to this day to day, this just connects you to more of the story that we'll cover tomorrow. If you're binging, then you know what? Take these extra few minutes to do some self-reflection. You're good enough. Hey, you're doing great. You're doing great today. You killed it. You're doing awesome. You can do anything. You put your mind to it. That's all I got to say. Okay. I'm going to end it there. I will see y'all here tomorrow for more of the Count of Monte Cristo. Okay, goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.